Hello and welcome to Inside Sports. I'm your host, Todd Blackstock. On today's show, STL TV's Angella Sharpe brings us inside the Dome at America Center to go behind the scenes at this year's Monster Jam truck competition. And folks, it's ski season, and the general manager of Hidden Valley Ski Resort, Tony Santora, will join us in studio to discuss this area gem. So stay with us for this and much more coming up next on Inside Sports. Today, we're going to send it over to Angella Sharpe down at America Center at the Dome with this report from Monster Jam.
Well, thanks, Todd. Look where I'm at. I am right here at Monster Jam. That's right. You know, they brought 15 dump trucks of dirt so they could have 4,500 cubic feet of dirt right here in the field, and they've got it all set up for the race. We are going to find one of the drivers, kind of see what's going on, and maybe he'll let me climb up inside of one of those trucks. All right, I finally caught up with Bryce Kenny. You drive Mohawk, which is behind us. Now, this is so exciting for people who don't really know, haven't been to a Monster Jam before. What is this all like?
Well, I like to call it controlled chaos because we come out here with these 12,000-pound Monster Jam trucks and just do crazy things with them. And I like it because it's very competitive. We've got racing competition. We've got the Great Clip Skills Challenge, which is kind of a technical challenge. But then it's the crowning jewel of Monster Jam is that freestyle competition at the end. That's where us as drivers, we get to go out there and do backflips and do all the crazy moves and all the carnage, create some carnage that I know that these St. Louis fans are wanting to see.
And let's talk a little bit about that. The truck is heavy. It's very tall. How tall are we?
Yeah, 12 feet tall.
Okay.
And about 1,500 horsepower. And so these trucks love throttle. In fact, that's where the control really does come from. If anyone's ever driven a jet ski before, when you let go of the throttle, it's almost like you can't steer it anymore. That's kind of the way these are. They love throttle. They love speed. And the more momentum that you can carry in one of these trucks, the better the tricks can be, and I guess the things that you're asking the truck to do, that all comes from that throttle, that momentum, and that speed, and that's what we want to carry.
I love that. And you are also trying to win the big Shazam, if you will, and that's in Nashville? That's
right, yeah. So this is a competitive tour series, point series that we have right here in St. Louis. So this is round 4 and 5 of our season. And we collect points as the season goes along. The season champion gets an automatic bid to the Monster Jam World Finals, which is taking place July 4th in Nashville. But we are all competing as hard as we can to make sure we get that automatic bid because that is our big event, right? That's our Super Bowl. That's our Stanley Cup, if you will. It's what everything culminates towards. And so I want to make sure that the Great Clips Mohawk Warrior team picks up some points here in St. Louis.
How are you doing points-wise?
Yeah, I think I'm third. I haven't seen the updated ones coming from Sunday. I was third, and then we had some truck issues, so I've got a couple points to regain. But that Gravedigger, man, he's in first place right now. He's been kicking our butts lately, and that's not going to happen. We're going to take him out.
Also a fan favorite, Gravedigger.
Yeah, and you know what, guys? You can cheer for Mohawk Warrior, okay?
Now you have to tell me, will you let me sit in this?
Oh, absolutely.
Come on, let's go.
You just climb up like a ladder, so it's left foot, right foot, and just watch your head when you get up there, okay? And you can pull up on my seat if you'd like.
Left foot? Oh, my, okay.
Yep. Then you can just sit into my seat if you'd like, or just kind of look.
Oh, look how great this is!
See, look how dirty everything
is.
We still
I mean, it's so dirty, but it's so cool.
Yeah.
Look at me up here. Hi, I'm in Mohawk. Now this feels. I mean, you really can't see anything that's going on underneath you.
Nope, but except for the fact that if you notice, though, we've got clear Lexan down here by my feet.
Okay.
So I can, of course, see out of the windshield, and then I can see down past the pedals, so I can see over the big tires. And that's what we want to do. We want to obviously be able to see over. When I'm racing, I'm actually not watching much out of the windshield. I'm looking out of this left part of the driver compartment, going down by that big giant BKT tire.
Thanks, Angela. And at this time, we'd like to introduce you to the general manager of Hidden Valley Ski Resort, Tony Santora. Tony, thank you so much for coming out here and joining us here today. And congratulations on your new position out at one of the area's local gems.
Yeah, thank you. I'm really excited to be out here and be talking about the great ski season we're having.
I'd say it's the middle of ski season. You know, the one thing about St. Louis is that it snows one day and it's, 50 or 60 degrees the next day, so that could be quite challenging for you guys.
It can be quite challenging, and this year it has been very challenging. Luckily, kind of at the beginning of December, we had a really good cold snap that allowed us to make a whole bunch of snow and kept us going throughout the season. And don't know if you guys noticed, but this past week it's been pretty cold, and so we've been able to have the snow guns on for a little over 48 hours, and we've got a lot of snow down now and ready to get through the rest of the season.
So you come from some pretty big mountains. I understand that your most recent position before taking this job was out in Park City, Utah. And I'd tell you, Park City is one of my favorite places ever to ski. I'll give you a couple anecdotes here in a minute, but in my opinion, Park City was a secret gem of the world until, was it 92? Until the Olympics came there. And when the Olympics came there, it opened it up to the world, and it's been really a tourist place, and it's really been huge ever since then.
Yeah, it was 2002 that the Olympics came. I was lucky enough to be in high school and got to go to a few of those events, which was a lot of fun. But yeah, to your point, I started skiing when I was 2 years old out there in Salt Lake, and there was a lot less lift lines, and it was a lot easier to get up some of those canyons back then. And since then, the sport and the area has just exploded. But it's just bringing, more people to the sport that I love, and it made it hard to move out here because it is such an awesome, great place. But I'm glad that I did because, Missouri is really special, and Hidden Valley is super special to have this little gym here to be able to ski.
Oh yeah, in Park City, when we were there, it's been a few years now, but Park City, they got this beautiful little town there. It's just right there. And it's so funny because I was going to a club one night, and they had these really weird rules. You had to go to the store to buy one thing here, and then you had to buy something over here. But if you wanted to go into the club there, you had to get sponsored. And then the bouncer or the bartender would be the guy that sponsored you, and then you would go in. One night I was in a little place, and it was kind of when karaoke was just coming out. And these little guys, with long hair were asking me questions. They're like, hey man, where'd you ski today? I was like, well, I skied at Deer Valley today. They go, what are the good runs? And I think I'm like, oh, try Solid Muldoon. It's a great long run. Or Big Stick. You go right down, it's wide open flat. And they're like, man, thanks a lot. And people are like, what do they say? They're like, that's Eddie Van Halen. I'm like, that's Eddie. I'm like, oh, wow, that's pretty cool. So I got to meet Eddie Van Halen. Wow. I didn't even know it was him. And talk a little bit of skiing in Park City.
That's amazing. I mean, that's one of the coolest things about Park City is that there are a few celebrities that call it home. And so, whether you're at Deer Valley or Park City Mountain, you have a chance of running into some of them. And, the laws have been a little bit interesting throughout the years, and they're definitely getting more relaxed and a little bit easier to navigate. But it's one of my favorite places to ski by far. The mountains out there are just unbelievable. And I was working at Park City Mountain, and the people there and the staff there just love to ski. They love what they're doing, and it's a lifestyle for them, and it's so cool to be in that culture. And Park City started out actually as a mining town, I'm sure and to see it grow into this ski town, but still have this mining background at Park City Mountain. While you're skiing around, you can still see some of the old mining shacks and buildings, and they even do a full tour where you can kind of go through and see some of these things. So just the history that's behind it, and to see it grow into what it's become is really fun, and it was exciting to be a part of for sure.
Yeah, we stayed at a place called Prospector Square.
Yeah.
And then we went over to Deer Valley, and it was like they would come out and meet you at your car or your truck, and they would carry your skis up for you. And then we would go over to Park West, and that was the beginning of snowboarding. And we're like, because everybody's like, oh, you shove all the snowboarders over to Park West, because the traditional skiers, they didn't want the snowboarders in the way, going real wide in the mountains. What were your thoughts about snowboarding, and how do you compare snowboarding and skiing? Which one do you prefer?
Yeah, honestly, I love snowboarding. So I started skiing when I was 2. I switched over to snowboarding when I was about 14. And there was still kind of that stigma of skiers versus snowboarders, right? And there's actually still 2 resorts in Utah that don't allow snowboarders, and Deer Valley is one of them. So yeah, I kind of switched over when I was 14 and started snowboarding a lot, and now I actually do both. So it kind of just depends on my mood and kind of how the conditions are, and so I've got a love for both of them, and it's fun to just be able to put on the sticks and ski for a little bit, or strap on the snowboard and get into some powder, and kind of having that option to go back and forth is a lot of fun. And
yeah, I think the snowboarding, I think it seems more fun if you're like in the back bowls with like a hill with a lot of snow, because if you're in some places and it levels off a little bit, you're gonna be walking for a little bit.
You hope you have a skier there to help pull you along. Yeah, you hope you're out riding with a skier on those days.
So when I was 14, my dad's like, "Do you guys want to go on a cruise or you want to go skiing?" So we went skiing in Sugarloaf, Maine. So we drive all the way out there, and it's snow. It's just like sleeting rain and like minus 10 degrees. And the first day I ever snowed, I'm like, man, this stinks. And my dad goes, "We're giving you a lesson after lunch." So my brother and I got lessons.
There you go.
We skied. The next day we learned how to ski on ice. And then we went out west to the Rockies. It was like, this is a piece of cake. You fall on this beautiful snow and not the ice. So anyway, how did you make your way from Park City, Utah to St. Louis?
Yeah, so Vail Resorts is the parent company of Hidden Valley Ski Resort. They also own Park City Mountain Resort. We own 41 resorts across the U.S. And so it was a promotion to come out here and be able to be the general manager for Hidden Valley. And so to be able to take that opportunity to come and run my own resort and be able to share the sport that I love with more people, in an area where not everybody does ski. In Utah, you're the skier, or you're not. There's so much opportunity, and it's everywhere, that if you haven't skied by the time, you're in your 20s, you're probably not going to. Where out here, there's just so much opportunity for people that have never been out skiing and, have never tried the sport, to get more of those new first-time skiers to the resort and show them what skiing's all about, so that then they can go on these fun ski vacations with their family to Colorado or up to the Northeast, wherever you may have you. So to me, it was really about coming and finding a place that I can, really share my passion and grow the sport that I've grown to love.
So this year is my high school 40th anniversary reunion. And I believe it's a pretty special year for you at Hidden Valley as well.
I say, then you graduated high school the year that Hidden Valley opened. It opened in 1982, so this is our 40-year anniversary, and we're super excited that we've been around for this long, in this community. There's a couple events that we're doing this year to kind of celebrate it. On February 11th, we've got our 80s party. So we're going to have an 80s band out. We got terrain park competition going on. If you got your old 80s gear from back then, come on out, because we're going to do a costume contest. So it should be a really fun day. So
in the last, year or so, what are some of the things that maybe you've tried to put your stamp on at Hidden Valley? Because, when you come into a new situation, you kind of look around and say, boy, this is pretty cool, but maybe if we could do this or that. Anything that you tried to implement coming in?
This year I've just been, trying to get the excitement back to the resort. With COVID the past couple of years, it was definitely a challenge for us to manage and to get people out having fun. There was less events, there was restrictions on going in the lodge. And so to really be able to open up the resort this year and get people excited to ski and to come out. So really making sure that we had a bunch of events planned, and we've got bands that play on the back patio almost every weekend. Everyone's now, again, welcome inside the lodge. And so, that's one of the biggest things that I tried to bring. It's just that excitement and that fun, because that's what skiing to me is all about, is coming out with friends, coming out with family, and just enjoying being outside and being on your skis or your snowboard, and just having a good time while doing it. And so, this year, that's really what I've been trying to push. And also getting, new skiers in. We've got a ton of great ski school lessons, from multi-week group lessons to private lessons. And so, really trying to expand on the ski school offerings that we have to get those first-time skiers to the resort. And you know, so many people, once you try it once, you're just hooked, and they come back over and over and just love it.
You know, how important is it to get that lesson? Because I was kind of pointing out that I wasn't enjoying it so much in the beginning of my first day skiing ever, but after the instructor showed me how to lift my legs and swivel my hips and use my balance, all of a sudden it was like this, you know, this bell went off, and all of a sudden I was really enjoying it.
You know, thanks for bringing that, because that's such a good point. Skiing is not something that's just intuitive. It's pretty hard just to put on the skis or put on a snowboard and know exactly what you're doing going down the hill. And so just getting that little bit of, you know, of instruction. Our lessons are 2 hours long, so you can come out, do that 2-hour lesson, and then, you know, stay for another 5 and really dial in those skills that you learned. It just makes it so much more enjoyable, because if you're struggling down the hill all day, every day, you know, then it just makes it a little bit harder to do. So that lesson is super important, and it'll just get you advanced quicker and get you having so much more fun, so much faster.
Perfect. We're going to take a quick break, but stay with us as we have more with Tony Santora when we return.
When we found out that we were pregnant, we were just elated. We were just sitting there waiting for the pediatrician. She said she won't be taking you in as a client.
We are a lesbian couple, but she's just a baby. She's the one you're denying the service to.
Hey, welcome back to Inside Sports. I'm Todd Blackstock. Now we're going to continue our conversation with Tony Santora, the general manager of Hidden Valley Ski Resort out in the Eureka Wildwood area. And, you know, Tony, we were talking how important lessons are, because it's kind of like riding a motorcycle before you know how. I mean, you're going to get on it and you're going to wreck and you're going to hurt yourself. So it's really important to get the lesson underway just to get your balance and then the techniques down. But then the next challenge is probably getting on the lift. That can be very, you know, an imposing thing for novices, people that haven't skied a lot, or beginners.
Yeah, absolutely, and that's where a lesson, you know, still comes in handy, because, you know, as you progress from that in that first lesson, you know, you'll end up on one of our smaller chair lifts and learning how to load and unload that lift. And so, you know, we really pride ourselves at in our ski school that it's really tiered towards that beginner skier, and it gets you ready to continue to kind of advance, you know, as you go through. So again, it goes right back to that ski school and learning how to do that, and that'll just build that confidence.
Oh, perfect. And if you want to prepare for your first day, or maybe you haven't skied in a while, what are some of the things that you recommend people bring along with them and wear so they can enjoy their day?
Yeah, and you know, even for people that have never skied before, we've got the majority of what you need. As long as you've got a jacket, goggles, you know, and some ski pants, you can rent your boots and snowboard from us. You can rent your skis and your boots from us. And then helmet is you know, a really important thing. You know, skiing is a safe sport, but you never know what's going to happen. And so just wearing that helmet to protect you is always important. And so, yeah, if you're that beginner skier that's never done it, rent some gear from us and come out, you know, and try it out. And then if you already have your stuff, just make sure that you're dressed warm and, you know, just for the weather, because like you said, it could be anywhere from 10 degrees here in Missouri all the way up to 65 degrees. And so, you know, if you're overdressed on one of those 65 days, you're going to be sweating. But if you're underdressed, you're going to be pretty cold. So, you know, make sure you're checking the weather before you come out, and, you know, dress to be comfortable.
You know, sunscreen too is important on those sunny days. Even
Absolutely.
if it's a little cloudy, you'd be surprised.
Yeah, and with the, you know, the snow actually just reflects so much light that you get way more UV rays than you're really expecting. So yes, definitely recommend that sunscreen. We've got some in our retail shop if you forgot it. You know, you can pick up goggles and helmets there as well. So even if you don't have anything, you can come to Hidden Valley, get everything that you need to go skiing.
If you've never been there, how would you negotiate your first day? You drive out there, you find the place. When you get there, what do you do?
You know, I would start before that. Go pay for everything online. Get your lift ticket online, get your rentals online, get your ski school online. You're going to get your best rate, and you're going to make sure that you lock in, that you have rentals and that you have ski schools. So go onto our website, hiddenvalleyski.com, and you can get everything that you need to prepare. Once you get there, just come up to our ticket window. It's going to be right in front of you at the main lodge. They'll get you your lift. They'll show you where to go for rentals if you need it. Otherwise, you can just go right around the main lodge and start skiing. So it's unlike some of those larger resorts that we were talking about. It's fairly small and compact, so it's hard to get lost while you're there. And if anybody ever has a question, my crew out there is super friendly and loves to talk to the guests. They're happy to answer any questions that people have.
Plus you can get right down to it. You don't have to go wait and try out for gear and burn a couple hours, of the day, because it's so important to get out there. Out of Hidden Valley, you have day skiing and night skiing as well.
We do, and night skiing is actually a lot of fun. When I first kind of came out here and did that underneath the lights, it's just a completely different atmosphere, and it's so many people out there just enjoying themselves. It's totally different. If you've never skied under the lights, I definitely recommend coming out and doing it. But yeah, you can even come, midday at noon, get your lesson in there and learn how to ski, and then by the time you're feeling good, those lights come on, and you get that just totally different atmosphere.
So even if you don't want to ski, say you're a little older, or you're younger, or you just want to go hang out, there's other activities out there to do besides skiing.
There is. One of our most popular things out there is tubing. We do it's a pretty big hill, and it is so much fun. I actually did it for the first time this year being out there, and I had just a riot. You get 2 hours just to lap as many times as you want. It's a great family activity too. You bring yourself and your kids out, maybe a couple of their friends, and you'll leave just laughing and having fun. If you just want to bring your kids out, if they're excited to ski, we've got a bar out there that you can hang out. If you want to send your kids out skiing, you can hang out and watch the big game on some of our TVs and eat some of our food in the restaurant.
So anybody can just go out there and tube it.
Absolutely.
You just go hang out. You don't have to put the boots on and walk and get the skis. Just going out there and up and down the hill.
A whole lot less skill involved in the tubing. You just got to sit down and hang on.
So that makes for a family-friendly day. It's like, if Joey wants to go skiing and he's all athletic, and then, Aunt Susie or somebody, she's not, she's got a bad knee, she can go out there and enjoy the day as well.
Oh, absolutely. I actually just had my parents out visiting me a couple weekends ago and took them tubing. Even everybody loves it. It's such a fun activity.
So mountain safety and ski patrols are a very important part of skiing. Are there some basic things you could share with our audience, when you're skiing, some of the best safety protocols?
One of the biggest things is just skiing within your ability. Some of the biggest accidents that we see are just people get a little bit over their heads. So we've got an awesome area for beginners, a lot of, of those green runs we call them, which are the beginner runs. We've got a chairlift and a carpet that, have those that allow you to get to those. And then as you progress, then you can kind of build up to the blue runs and the black runs and those that are a little bit more challenging. But just making sure that you kind of ski within your ability and you ski within your speed. The faster you go, the harder it's going to be to slow down. And so making sure that you're comfortable with the speed that you're going and staying in control, is going to be really important. And then just make sure you're watching out for the signs that we have out there. Be going slow in the slow zones, listening to any ski patrollers that are out there if, they give you any guidance or guidelines. Are going to be, some of those core things that'll keep you safe while you're out skiing.
How important is it to stretch before you start your day, maybe before you even get out there, to kind of get a little limber going and maybe hydrate yourself? And what kind of snacks can you bring along?
Oh my gosh, I stretch every day before I get out onto the slopes, especially as I get older and older. Skiing's a sport just like anything else, and so it's going to take, it's going to work your muscles and it's going to be challenging. And so, and especially that hydration that you just mentioned, a lot of times you'll be out there for maybe 4 or 5 hours. And so, making sure you are drinking water as you go through, especially on those hotter days. And then, snacks, I always like to put a granola bar in my pocket. If you forgot your granola bar, we give them out at the front desk. So stop by and grab a granola bar.
Little Snickers.
Yep, exactly. Just something that you can snack on really quick while you're on the lift and get you that just kind of boost of energy. You know, that's what I like to put in my pocket. And then, you know, like I mentioned, we have a full restaurant with, you know, burgers and chicken tenders and pizza, you know, right there at the resort. So when lunch comes around, you don't have to leave the resort. You can just come right inside, you know, get a bite to eat, and then get right back on the slopes having fun again. So yeah, we've got everything you need to have a full day there at the resort.
And I guess when you're coming out, you better kind of look uphill when you're coming on to new trails and things like that. And sometimes if there's a marking and things, you need to you know, kind of pay attention to those things.
Oh yeah, always keep your head up, keep your head on a swivel. You know, when you're standing up to start your run, make sure you look behind you and make sure nobody's coming. You know, the skier uphill has to watch out for the skiers downhill. The skiers downhill have the right of way. And so, you know, if you're passing somebody, making sure you're doing it safely because they can't see you. You know, snowboarders really have to make sure that they're watching their blind spot. You know, they're kind of sideways looking forward, so they got to make sure they're looking behind them. And, you know, keeping your, just the awareness around you is kind of the biggest thing. As long as you know what's around you, you're skiing within your ability, you're watching the signs, you're going to have just a great time while you're out there.
Excellent. Anything else that I didn't bring up that you would like to share before we let you go?
Yeah, you know, like I said, I'm all about bringing the excitement this year, and so the events that we have this year are a lot of fun. This Friday, we're doing a Do After Dark, so we're going to have a DJ starting at 6 p.m. So if you haven't come out and night skied before, it's a great time to come out and try it. We're actually going to put up some rails in a little small pop-up terrain park right in front of the lodge to have a little competition on, and so if you want to come out and see some people compete, sliding rails, we'll have that DJ going. We have our 80s party on the 11th, which is a week from Saturday, with just, again, so much fun. You look like you're about to ask a question.
No, I was like, when does your season end?
March 5th.
Okay.
Yeah, so we still have a full month of excitement and events. If people want to check out our events, go to our website. We've got an events page on there that, you know, just tells you everything. But live music pretty much every Saturday, Sunday here going forward. You know, at the very end of the season, we do a spring fling. We actually do a pond skim. So we fill up a pond basically with water, and you try to ski across it the best you can. It's a lot of fun. It's just a great day. It's usually nice and warm out, you know, once we get to that kind of time of year. So just the events that we have going on, you know, I recommend people go and check those out on our website and come out to those, because it just makes a great atmosphere. And I just love the guests that are out there. They want to be out there because they love to ski, and you can tell, and the excitement and the joy is palpable, and it's one of my favorite things about Hidden Valley.
All right, well, thank you so much, Tony, for joining us on Inside Sports. Well, that's our show for today. We especially like to thank our studio guest, Tony Santora, for joining us, Angella Sharpe from the Monster Jam, and we especially like to thank you for watching Inside Sports on STL TV. Experience St. Louis.